I don't think there's been a more appropriate time to praise Keck than right now. What's poppin', players? Welcome to another edition of Breaking Badger News. I'm your host, as always, the John Deskin Simpsons kin, straight out of Springfield's crazy mother effer named Max Starrett. I can't rap, and I can't hide the fact that I'm really white, but don't tell anybody. Anyways, before we get into these stories, I just want to introduce my co-panelist, who is kind enough to join me on such short notice. She is the boss, Allison Tiemann. What?
No, I never get that. Never gets old. Never.
Have you actually ever played Metal Gear?
I've watched people play it. I've not actually played it myself. I found the undulations along the ground quite amusing. I assume
what?
Like the Solid Snake undulating on is stealthily undulating across the ground. I'm like, Jesus. Somebody likes buttocks in this particular franchise.
Yes, yeah, no kidding. It's like Solid Snake has butt cheeks like Brad Pitt. You can just crack an egg on them. But anyways, you're not here to hear us talk about butt cheeks. I mean, maybe you are, but that's for another time. I just got a couple of stories that I want to get out of the way that I thought were interesting. One that's kind of hilarious, and another one that's a little bit more sinister. Should be able to get this out pretty quickly. So, first of all, let's start off with something fun. Sort of fun and sort of sad. Another video game that is quite popular that I like, aside from Metal Gear Solid, is World of Warcraft. Now, I haven't played it in several years because I had to make the decision a long time ago whether or not I should let this game consume my life, and thankfully I chose to not let it do that. But there are other people that still play the game and play it regularly. However, there was a story that came out about a week ago that it's just sort of picked up traction online over the following days, where apparently there was a user that plays World of Warcraft, but he named his character Twogenders, Twogenders, as his character's name. And Blizzard is the name of the company that produces World of Warcraft. One of the Blizzard general managers of the server that he was on messaged him directly and told him that because his name violates their terms of service, he would have to change it. And what he did was he just added an extra O to 2. So it was Twogenders. So he didn't really change the name. He was sort of doing it as a protest, even though he says in a leaked text conversation between him and the manager that he just changed it because he was pressed for time and he was in a raid and was trying to make sure that he wasn't pulling aggro at the wrong time, yada yada yada. But yeah, the general manager messaged him again after that and said, we're banning your account for 24 hours. And the guy was like, wait, why? Really? Seriously? And the reason that was given is as follows. I'll quote the general manager himself. Simply put, please leave real-world discussions about gender identity and gender identification out of the game for 12-year-old children. And Twogenders rightfully replied, I mean, when on the loading screen, there were two genders to choose from. And I was just like, we were speaking about another story before we started recording, Allison and I, about lack of self-awareness. But yeah. I don't see if it gets any better than this. Allison, what was your reaction when you first read about this?
I just that is a boggling. Yeah, it's right there on the loading screen. Twogenders. Which gender would you like? This gender or that gender? But you can't reference that in the game because that is too political. I just want to point something out. The native term for people who are transgender is two-spirit. Is that now also something that somebody couldn't name themselves in World of Warcraft?
I guess if they did and the manager came after them, they'd call him a racist and they probably have to back off.
Well, which one would it be? Would it be racist or would it be transphobic?
Oh God!
And I don't actually think is that transphobic. I mean, a lot of the trans women and men that I talk to actually believe that they are they believe that the way that we define gender may be incorrect, but that there are two, and they are one of the two. So
that would make a great meme. Like that meme where it's the guy brushing sweat off of his brow and he has to pick between two buttons. And on the subject of whether Two Spirits, a character's named Two Spirit is racist or transphobic, it's just.
But like I said, is it really transphobic or is it like mayonnaise kin phobic?
I don't know.
The people who want to define themselves by, I don't know, liking felt or something. I'm felt gendered, or whatever else they're coming up with.
It's bloody World of Warcraft. You have night elves and gnomes and dwarves and whatever the hell else. The bloody undead. I don't understand. Like, if kids can handle concepts like that and, seeing blood being hacked out of boars in the woods, I'm pretty sure that they can handle the concept that, hey, there's some people out there, some that are crazy, some that are definitely not, that see that there's more than one way to identify yourself in terms of gender.
Well, like the guys pointed out, the loading screen has two genders. At that point, you know what? Let's move on. This is just too silly.
Yeah. Why are you enforcing the binary stereotypes, Blizzard? Anyways, moving on to another story. This one's a little bit more fitting for our attention and more important to talk about. According to a document that we came across in the Honey Badger Discord, we got this from a website called edri.org, but it seems, according to a leaked document from Statewatch that came out on August 30th, that during the summer months, the European Union, specifically the current EU presidency holder, Estonia, has been pushing the other member states to strengthen indiscriminate internet surveillance and to follow in the footsteps of China regarding online censorship. Standing firmly behind its belief that filtering the uploads is the way to go, the presidency has worked hard in order to make the proposal for the new copyright directive even more harmful than the Commission's original proposal, and pushing it further into the realms of illegality. Now, according to the leaked document, the text suggests two options for each of the two most controversial proposals. The first option regards upload filtering. So let's say you were to upload a video to YouTube and there was something in the video like a song, or maybe it was a part of somebody else's video that can give them initial grounds to claim your video for copyright. Well, the EU is proposing that certain platforms will be given the capacity to scan all content before it's uploaded. And then option B is a lot more sinister than that. Option B establishes that platforms and its users would be liable for the copyright infringing content uploaded by its users. Now, I don't know how the hell they imagine that they're going to make something like this work. I mean, just the hundreds of videos that are uploaded to various different sites every single day that copyright infringe or might use other parts of other people's videos to do response videos, commentary videos. I don't understand how they can possibly imagine being able to carry something like this out. I just don't see how this is tenable, but nonetheless, it's quite scary.
How are they going to scan stuff before it's uploaded?
I don't know. There's certain digital technologies that, or content recognition technologies that would be employed by, like, that they would have to force the companies to comply with. You know?
Oh, well, this is government for you.
Yeah. This is the EU for you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure what else to say to this except, yeah, this doesn't sound like it's a good idea. It looks like they're trying to threaten common carriers, so they're going to make each of these platforms liable for whatever the people who are using it do, which will kill them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, the EU, it just seems like with every possible decision that they can make, they're making all the wrong decisions, except for maybe one or two.
Recently, the EU said that Google needs to give a fair shake to its competitors and find it for its monopolistic practices. Of course, that's probably just the EU lining its own pocket.
Well, but, like, even with that, like, there seems to be sort of a noble goal at the end of that, but it seems that when they tried to propose that ancillary copyright tax, it seemed that Google just started closing stuff down and doing some tricks, and apparently everybody else in certain EU countries are paying that tax except for Google.
Ugh.
You know, seriously.
Oh, great. Well, I actually wasn't referring to copyright tax. It was a fine, a specific antitrust fine that was put on Google. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about the tax and Google evading the tax, but yeah, the EU fined Google based on an antitrust measure, and they also tried to put in place other measures to make Google treat its competition fairly, because Google has been sort of found cooking the books, directing people to its own services rather than its competition services through its browser, which in some ways you can understand that a company would do that.
Oh, sure.
But in other cases, they are sort of becoming the evil empire.
Skynet. Excuse me.
Kind of.
But yeah. But in respect to things that you can do to sort of protest against these types of measures that the EU is supposedly proposing, on the website that I was reading this particular report for, it says that before the key votes are made on this particular type of legislation are made in the European Parliament, there is a website that you can go to where you can actually call certain representatives called savethememe.net so that this type of stuff doesn't actually go through in the end. So there you go.
Yeah, do that. Save the memes.
Do that. Say yes. So that way, it's...
Save the memes of production.
Save the memes of... Jesus. You're turning into Hannah now.
Yeah, no.
Allison.
I'm going to shut up now. Except for
okay.
Except for the shill at the end. Go ahead.
Hannah's pun mastery is sort of rubbing off on all of us. That's just the way it works. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this particular episode of Breaking Badger News. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you like this particular episode, make sure to leave a like. And if you agree or disagree with any of the points that we brought up, Allison and myself, or the points brought up by Twogenders or EDRI.org, make sure to leave your thoughts down below. We love to read everything that you guys have to say. And Allison, do you want to do your shill before we end the show?
Yeah, I'll do the dance of the 1,000 shills. Okay, so as you may not know, it is our patrons and supporters who make this show available essentially for free. So if you want to join their illustrious ranks and make sure that Honey Badger Radio stays on air as long as possible, please go to www.patreon.com/honeybadgerradio. Or if you just want to donate for a one-time option, www.feedthebadger.com.
You don't want Skynet to take over, do you?
No.
Well, we're on the front lines fighting this battle. So do as she says. Please, kindly. We're not forcing you to do anything, but we really appreciate it. Okay, we are forcing. The thoughts and opinions expressed by the individuals on Honey Badger Radio are not necessarily representative of everybody else, blah, 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 blah. That'll do it for us.
Bye.
Have a lovely day.
No,